Hey, what's going on, my fearless networking friend? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to another episode. So a question came up the other day. I was talking to a coaching client who just doesn't really have a lot of time. And in fact, they're just like, I don't have any time. And was essentially getting ready to say, like, I'm just not going to do it because I just don't have the time to do it, which, you know, obviously is a reason to do it. If you're totally strapped for time and you've got no free time, nothing is going to change unless you change your situation. That's a pretty obvious thing. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and, you know, like I think in a very recent video I talked about, you know, we've all heard the definition of sanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That is insane. So he's stuck in this situation where, you know, he wants to make more money. He doesn't have any free time. Why he got involved in network marketing. And so instead of him quitting and, you know, just bailing out and not doing anything, I said, dude, if you can just commit to an hour a day, you can succeed in this business. Now, is that ideal? No, it's less than ideal. It's absolutely less than ideal. But just because you've only got 60 minutes a day doesn't mean that you can't progress. No, I don't think it does, because in fact, you know, 15, 16 years ago, I built a company, actually a little bit longer than that, but I built a company. I literally put in maybe an hour a day. And the cumulative earnings from that company is well in excess of 7 figures, right? So, and I only built it for like couple years, 1 hour a day on average. But because it's, you know, because it's a network marketing company, you build something up, you can get paid over and over again from the work that you did one time. You get that residual income, which is a beautiful thing. That's one of the most beautiful things about this business, getting paid over and over again from the work that you did once, right? Isn't that why many of us are involved in this profession? So can you build your business 1 hour a day or even less? The truth is, yes, you can. No, it's not ideal. But as long as you're able to get your business to, you know, a step ahead each and every day, then it's something that's feasible. Again, no, not ideal. Ideally, you can put more time in. The more time that you can put in, the greater the result that you're going to get, as long as you're putting as long as the time that you're putting in is doing the right kinds of activities. Like a good friend of mine, Rachel, she was very limited in her time, extremely limited. She's in a medical practice, had a very short commute. In fact, this is way less. And I'll say this before I even say this. This is highly unusual. Results aren't typical. I mean, I'm not presenting a business opportunity here, so I don't have to worry about it, but I will still say the results are not typical. But this is what she did. She committed to a business. She had very limited time, which is why she committed to the business. She had a 5-minute commute to work, a 5-minute commute home, so very close to work, but she was on lockdown for 10 to 12 hours a day. Couldn't use her cell phone, couldn't take breaks to do stuff. So that was the situation that she was in. So she was in kind of a pretty tough, you know, kind of catch-22, wanting to but not having the time to. And it's like, how do I change the situation that I'm in, but not really having a whole lot of liberty, you know, free time to change that situation. So what she did is she made a commitment to every day on the way into work, 5 minutes, she made one prospecting call. Literally left her driveway, made the call, said, hey, we're launching this business. We'd love to show you what we're up to. Listen, I'm getting ready to pull up it, like literally, because the commute was so, I got to go. So she was in a rush. She didn't have to try to explain it to somebody. So listen, I don't have a lot of time. I'm literally pulling up to the office. I'll call you on my way home from work. Go look at this. And what she did for the first year is every single day that she drove into work, and she told me this is exactly what she told me, right? Every day that she went into work, prospected one person, got back to that same person on the way home from work. And in her case, very unusual, results not typical, she was able to earn over 6 figures in her first 12 months doing what? What is that? Maybe 10 minutes a day? Let's say she had a couple conversations with the person afterwards, or that conversation after she got home was a little bit longer, but very, very limited time. So can you succeed in an hour a day? Yes, as long as the time that you're putting in is focused on the right activity. Like, look, if you've got an hour a day and the hour a day is you're reading a book or you're studying training material or you're doing something other than reaching out to someone to expose them to your products, services, or opportunity, then you're certainly not going to make progress in that example in an hour a day. But if you were to look at your time differently, and this is something I've done many trainings on, and it's something that you need to understand as a network marketer that has lots of people that are wanting to have the freedom that network marketing can provide, yet they're in a situation where they really don't have the time. They've got a full-time job, they've got this, that, family, other things, and where am I going to find the time? Well, the truth is, most people have the time as long as they put a different set of lenses on and look at their time differently, right? Bunch of you guys, for example, if you followed me for an extended period of time, you've heard my Mark Weiser story. I've had him, in fact, I had him do a video for me one time a couple years ago on this subject. This is a guy that I worked with. This is exactly what happened with Mark. Comes to me, doesn't have the time, quitting his business, and I felt that he had the ability to do it, right? And I was like, and he actually called me to let me know that he was quitting, which is very unusual. Most people just cancel their auto ship and kind of disappear, right? So he said, look, I'm quitting the business. I was like, brother, what's up? He said, I just don't have the time because I work like 70 hours a week. I'm very involved in my church. I'm very involved with my family, and I don't have the time to put into the business. And because I learned a long time ago to look at my time differently, and people need to be trained to look at their time differently, I just said to him, I said, so tell me about your schedule. And he's like, well, I get up early. I got a 2-hour commute. And I was like, whoa. I'm like, well, what are you doing in your 2-hour commute? Well, he had a 2-hour commute. Rachel I was referring to had a 5-minute commute. He said to me, I go, you're in your car you're in your car for like 2 hours a day. He goes, no, I'm in my car 4 hours a day, driving from Riverside to Los Angeles. I'm like, what are you doing in your car? He's like, you're not going to like the answer. I'm like, well, what's the answer? He's like, I'm listening to talk radio. Wasn't even using it as a roving university, right? And I told the guy, I said, look, here, and this is like really early cell phone days when cell phones were super expensive, like, per minute charges, which, you can get flat rates now and everything. But I said, look, dude, if you are prepared ahead of time, you can take advantage of that commute time as long as you're prepared. So that's the whole thing about, like, if you have a significant lack of time, then it requires you to be even more prepared. We should all be prepared anyhow, but it should be like the focus on preparedness should be huge, right? Because you only have this much time. So I said, look, just get your lead list ready before you go to work the night before, who you're going to prospect that day. Prospect on the way into work, prospect on the way home from work, and bring me people. All you got to do is put people in front of the information, and those that are interested, bring them to me on 3-way calls. And, this guy, I love it when you tell them what to do, and they actually do it. The very next day, he started calling me in the morning, at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I got this guy, I got this girl, I got this person. And like he prospected all the way into work, all the way home from work, and this dude went from quitting to making over 10 grand a month in his business within about a year. He went on, I'm pretty sure, to earn, pretty like $40,000, $50,000 a month in the next company he was involved in. He was going to quit network marketing. So think about that for a second. If you're really, really limited, can you, like he had a couple, in this case he had 2 hours in, 2 hours out, so that's 4 hours a day. That's but think about you, like if you've got a 20-minute commute, or you got to drive across town, or you got a small break at work. Honestly, a pocket of time that's 5 minutes is an invite. Think about that. A 5-minute break at work, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Those all add up. And I think that those of you that are in, or those of you that have people that are in that situation, or either you're in that situation or you have people that are in that situation, this is actually a very distinct advantage for you. And even those of you that are not in this situation, the thing that you can do here is pretty powerful, because the truth is, like with Rachel, she had 5 minutes. Like she's like leaving for work, boom, she's pulling up to her parking spot at work. She literally only had 5 minutes. So this whole conversation of like, what is it? Can you tell me what it's all about? Can you explain it to me? Which sometimes, obviously, somebody tries to, can you just kind of tell me what? Look, I mean, you literally don't have the time, so you can't get into it. Say, look, you know what? I only have a couple minutes. I'm literally pulling up at the office in a couple minutes, but we just launched this business. I want to show you what we're up to. I'm gonna send you a text message with a couple videos. Will you do me a favor? Take a look at it. I'll give you a call on the way home from work. I got to go. I'm literally walking into the office right now. That limitation in your time actually creates a real opportunity for you to be able to say legitimately, I've only got a couple minutes, because you literally only have a couple minutes. Then you're not, caught up in trying to explain what it is when, the reality is you shouldn't anyhow. That's why we have tools and presentations at our disposal that are consistent, or whether it's live or recorded, you have a professional presenter that's laying it all out, or it's a recorded video that never changes because it's a recorded video. The messaging's always consistent. It's professionally done. You can get somebody in front of something that is a well-produced presentation, however you're getting somebody in front of whatever you're getting them in front of. But I know for a fact that people who've got extreme limitations in their time, even down to an hour a day, I mean, even if, like Rachel's example, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, if you think about that, let's see, I don't know, I'm not going to do the math on it, but we've got 52 weeks in a year, 52 times 5, that's about 250 odd day, roughly 250 work days Monday through Friday during a 12-month year, right? And she did 250 exposures over 12 months. Compare that to most network marketers that even have way more time. They've got 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and they don't do 250 exposures in a year. But yet somebody who's got this tiny little amount of time is able to be laser focused and cut to the chase, get to the point, not be forced to explain it, get people in front of the information. She's doing an invite, she's getting them in front of the information, she's get back to them in the afternoon. So look, I don't know what your situation is that you're in, but you don't need 10, 15, 20 hours a week to put into the business. Yes, if you can put 15 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week, whatever, however, like the more time that you can put in can be bigger results because it's more time, as long as the time that you're putting in is focused on the right activities, right? So in a person that's really, really strapped for time, they've got very little time to do it, they've got to be even more prepared. That means they have to have their, who am I going to talk to? It can't be like, I don't have time to dilly-dally around and figure out who I'm going to talk to. I got to, talk to this person, this person, this person. So having their list or, who they're going to be prospecting, readily available to them is very important, especially in that situation. But look, I mean, I did it in limited time. I know that I helped Mark Weiser get to a 6-figure income doing that. I know that my friend Rachel did it. And there are numbers of other examples where people with tiny little amounts of time can get in there and create forward progress, one baby step at a time. Maybe the business isn't growing super fast because you don't have the time to put into it. But if you could say, well, I'm just not going to do it because I've only got an hour a day. Well, or you could say, look, I've got an hour a day. That's all I've got. But I'm going to take this little time that I have, turn it into productive time, and the compound effect of those efforts, because the beautiful thing is we get paid over and over again from the work that we did one time, so we've got the compound effect of those efforts over an extended period of time. 12 months from now, 24 months from now, you'll look back and go, man, I only put an hour a day into this business, and look at what's happened. Maybe at the beginning it was a little bit, in the first few months it was a little bit, but over time, new team members come in, more team members come in, more customers, more growth, and it's just a tiny amount of time. So I'm telling you, you don't need a ton of time to be able to produce results in your business. You just need to do something every single day. So like in this conversation with this guy that I had just a couple of days ago, I'm like, dude, instead of like just not doing anything, just keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road, if even for a little bit. Don't get out of the car. If you're driving the car, maybe you not be driving the car full speed ahead, but you're still driving the car. You're still hands behind the wheel, driving down the road. Maybe you're not going to get from here to wherever your destination is in the time that you would love to, but you have very limited time. So something to think about for people, for you, if you're dealing with this, and then if you've got people, which you will for sure, have people on your team that are like, dude, I don't have any time. I have very little time to do this business. They can still progress it forward. They don't need 20 hours a week. They don't need 10 hours a week. It'd be great, yes, again, if you can put the time in, you'll get more results as long as the time that you're putting in is focused on the right activities, right? And we all know what the right activities are, which is executing invites, reaching out, exposing people to what it is that we do, but something to think about and something you're certainly going to deal with as a network marketing professional. So are you on my YouTube channel? Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. If you're on my podcast and listening to me on audio, thank you so much as well. If you want the rest of the story, love to hear your feedback, your comments. Please come over to toddfalcone.com/episode 116. Again, toddfalcone.com/episode 116. Give me your comments, and we'll see you next time.